It's time for Coach's Corner on Dakota's Best AM 1390 KJAM and AmazingMadison.com.
Jaws looking to throw to his right. Deep ball down the sideline. He's got Opdahl by himself. Off his head. He catches it again. It's a 3-touchdown night for Austin Opdahl. Gonna go quick handoff to Freeman, running right off right tackle, makes a couple of tackles, ankle tackle, he's out in open space, he's at the 40, the 50, at the other side of the 40, running into the Case IH red zone, he's got no man to beat, touchdown for Tri-Valley.
Dropping back, looking to pass for alignment. He's got lots of time as he rolls out to his right. Now he fires a pass, tipped in, intercepted by Noah Guzzi for the Bulldogs. Noah Guzzi picks it off, it was tipped.
Still in the backfield, rolling towards his right is Hansen. Looking to pass, he'll throw a dump route. Oderheim, complete. It'll be a flag thrown on the play. He will cut outside. It'll be a first down. He's running towards the end zone. It'll be touchdown. He tries to make a couple of men miss. Inside, still inside his own 10. Ball is fumbled at the goal line. Picked up by Dakota State. Touchdown, Trojans.
Riley Anke stands to the right side of Giles. Giles going to keep it himself. Riley is the lead blocker. Giles dives forward into the end zone. Touchdown, Madison Bulldogs.
Live from Sportsman's Steakhouse and Lounge in Madison, here are your hosts, Paul and JJ.
We're back live once again from Sportsman's Steakhouse and Lounge this evening. This is Coach's Corner, joined alongside, I am Paul Vold. Once again, my co-host, JJ.
How's it going?
It is going all right. Of course, you are hosting the Gold this week, the Coach's Corner NFL Picks champion for this previous week.
Honestly, I don't know how it happened.
I don't know either. I'm still baffled.
I was watching the games on Sunday, and I'm like, oh, I picked them, they lost. I picked them, they lost. And then I won by a lot.
You know, I was tallying the sheets, as the games went by. I'm like, I'm seeing a lot more check marks for, wins for JJ, and I'm like, I'm seeing way too many X's on my side, and I just barely got by 7-7 this week. You, on the other hand, pull out the win this week, our first true champion for picks this week.
Except the belt is too small.
It is. It's a kid size. I told you this already.
Well, after the fact.
Well, what else did you expect?
I can't wear it.
You can't wear it.
I can't put it over my shoulder, so I got to hold it.
Exactly.
Who does that? It's a belt.
People do that. Not normal people, but again, we are back live once again, Coach's Corner, live from Sportsman's Steakhouse and Lounge. Paul Volt joined alongside JJ this week, and also we have a number of guests joining with us. We are joined by currently Madison Bulldogs head football coach Max Hodgen. We will also have coming up here in about 20 minutes or so Madison cross country coach Bob Courts, along with Dakota State Trojan football head coach Josh Anderson, and a couple of players he's bringing, Nick Behrens and also Kurt Bakey. This evening, as we just make our way into Coach's Corner, of course, we are now joined alongside head coach for the Madison Bulldogs, undefeated this season, 7-0, Mr. Max Hodgen. Coach, thanks for coming on tonight.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate being here.
Absolutely, Coach. We appreciate your time. And also, this is my first time in Madison. I just moved here about 4 months ago. And, me and Matt Gross, we get to talking a lot, talking about the Bulldogs a lot during work. And, he was introducing me to, the football program here. And, well, so far you guys have performed up to my expectations and even further as well, with your team this season, 7-0, especially coming off last week's win against Canton, 46-15. You have a solid core of experienced players across the board in almost every position. What does it take, in practices and also coming into games to kind of put all that talent together in a game and to be able to put up the kind of numbers that you have this year?
Yeah, we lost a few key figures from last season, and I think some people looked past us early on. But defensively, I knew that we would have a solid defense. We're very athletic and experienced, and that really helped carry us. And then offensively, Josh Giles came out and executed our offense to a T, threw the ball a lot better than I thought a first-year quarterback would do. In running, we've got to improve our running game a little bit, but overall, I couldn't be happier with where we're at right now at 7-0.
Absolutely. 7-0, a lot of big-time wins, especially last week. Took on Canton. You were up at halftime 18-7, but you'd go on to win 46-15. Going into that halftime locker room, what was your message? As you were trying to make the adjustments going into the second half, and you'd be able to rattle off 28 straight points.
Well, I think we came off a big win against Sioux Falls Christian the week before, and they talk about trap games and things of that nature. And Canton was 3-3 coming in to play us, and we just didn't have a great week of practice. And they're a good ball club. They're physical, and I don't think that I don't think we gave them the respect that they deserved, and it showed out there at times. But we've got a lot of weapons, and we're able to score pretty quick and change momentum. And when we came out of halftime, a kickoff return for 7 points, and then 2 plays later we have a pick six, and the game's pretty much over right there from a standpoint of can they muster up enough offense against our defense to really threaten us. And then we let down a little bit, but overall, we put up 46 points, and we played a good team. So I was happy with our efforts and the outcome.
Absolutely, Coach. On the offensive side of the ball, so many kids on the offensive side of the ball. You got Josh Giles at quarterback. You got Mason Layton. You got the Yankees as well. Each one of them has their own little thing that puts together this offense. When you put all that together, what does it really say about your team offensively to be able to have those kinds of players as well, and also some guys coming, off the sideline as well, to be able to plug into this offense and have so much success?
Well, I like to take credit for it and say it was the coaching staff, but when you have just pure talent like we do, we put a lot of pressure on the defense and kind of dictate what do you want to take away from us. And when like you just mentioned, there's 4 or 5 weapons that you really got to pick your poison. And most teams early on in the season they've said, okay, Mason's had a big night, so they double cover him, and then it leaves the 2 Yankees and Guzzi on the other side open, or they spread it out wide, and Riley's able to run the ball up the middle. So when you try to take one thing away, we've done a nice job, and the coaches up in the booth have done a real good job of distributing the ball and taking advantage of the weaknesses of the defense just by their alignment.
Coach, over onto the defensive side of the ball, your team this season, from what I've seen and what I've also heard from Matt Gross as well, your defense has a bit of a knack for shutting down a passing game. And, with some of the bigger playmakers setting up the offense as well on the defensive side, what adjustments, if anything, does the coaching staff or, yourself on the defensive side have to make to be able to take advantage of what the opposing offense isn't doing production-wise?
Well, there's always adjustments to be made, and at halftime we've done a really good job of making adjustments and coming out in the third quarter. We've been exceptional in the third quarter from our performance, but up front we've got 260 and 280 inside, and then 2 defensive tackles that are very athletic, and then 4 linebackers that I'd put them on a 4x1 and I'd put my money on them. And then in the secondary, we're just a lot of experience. They're ball hawks. They're good hands, and they're playmakers on both sides. And speed, being physical. That's what we talk about. Alignment, getting lined up right, and then going out and having fun and playing loose.
Absolutely. You got so many. You got size, you got speed, and you got just overall athletic ability on the defensive side of the ball. Certainly been fun to watch to see the defense, play, especially put up some points in the season as well.
Yeah, when you can get special teams touchdowns and defensive touchdowns, and then change field position with turnovers, it just goes hand in hand. And in all 3 phases, we're playing pretty well right now.
Absolutely, Coach. This Friday you're taking on T Area, another highly contested matchup. What have you seen from T this season to, and especially going into practice as well, this week, that to prepare yourselves for this matchup this Friday?
Well, it's just one people have had circled for a long time. We anticipated that they'd be 7-0, and we were playing hard and hoping that we could be 7-0. And so the matchup's here. We're a couple of days away, and we're excited. They've got a real talented quarterback. We've got to contain him in the pass game, and then when he gets loose, we just got to tackle in space well. And that when you have a running quarterback, it puts a lot of pressure on your defense, and we've just got to be sound in our philosophy on how we're going to attack him.
Yeah, Coach. As just looking at the way the season has been going for you guys, 7-0 right now, heading into Friday's matchup. And, of course, you want to take it 1 week at a time, game by game. But looking towards the postseason and the playoffs is too. What are some things that your team is going to have to do to be successful to make another long run in the playoffs?
Well, I mean, you get to this time of season, and we played a very physical schedule, and you're going to have players that are banged up, and they're going to miss a game or miss 2 games, and we have to rely on our younger talent to step up in there and next man up and fill the shoes. And we experienced that last week. We were down 4 starters, and the nice thing is that we've had some success early on in the season where our JV has got to, a chance to participate under the lights on Friday nights, feel that pressure, go against some varsity players, and then the coaches, we can evaluate them. And this is the time of year that we expect them to step up and perform just as the first stringer would. And that's kind of what we need to do down the stretch. And we've been fortunate enough the last 3 years to get a lot of quality play out of our underclassmen.
Coach, thanks again for coming on. We wish you the best of luck this Friday and especially the rest of the way this season into the postseason, because we're going to be covering you throughout.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thanks
Absolutely. Thank you for picking as well our view, because our friend Mike, the bartender here at Sportsman's, is actually not working tonight, so we're going to divvy up all the picks from this week. We're going to have each guest come on and pick, I think, 5 games is the number that we divided them up. Looking at your picks already, you got some strong contenders, maybe to make a run towards the little championship that we got over there.
Well, this is gold right here. That belt might be coming up to Madison High School here.
Who knows?
I'll take you on.
Again, Madison Bulldogs head football coach Max Hodgen joining us on Coach's Corner. Of course, the Bulldogs taking on T Area this Friday. Of course, that game you can listen right here on Dakota's Best AM 1390, 7 p.m. kickoff. The Farmers Ag Center pregame show starting at 6:40. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we will be joined by Madison cross country coach Bob Quartz on Coach's Corner. Of course, we are live from Sportsman's Steakhouse and Lounge right here on Dakota's Best AM 1390.
Mustang Seeds, your proven leader with proven performance for over 53 years. Providing top-notch service that area producers have come to expect, Mustang Seeds provides the service and products to maximize yields and quality harvest. Mustang Seeds is the best choice for having your farming operation succeed. Contact your seed expert today at Mustang Seeds, 605-256-6529, or online at mustangseeds.com.
You can count on our seeds year after year, planting your future. Mustang Seeds.
Trust your farming operation with the locally owned and operated Farmers Ag Center of Madison. With their state-of-the-art facility, Farmers Ag Center offers trusted advice when it comes to fertilizer, seed, and crop protection products. Area producers can expect accurate and timely advice, including efficient delivery and application of products during all seasons. Locally owned and operated Farmers Ag Center of Madison. The leaders in the field, the leaders in customer service, proud to serve area farmers and proud to support area communities.
Whether it's a car accident, storm damage, or a fire, when the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. In this moment, it doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance that you do. In this moment, what matters is that your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them have you covered. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Call GSN Insurance in Madison today, 556-0242.
Have you ever lost sleep over your real estate property investment? Ever wondered if you owed more money at closing time? Hi, I'm Kelly with Weber Abstract. As a consumer, you have a choice where you close your mortgage, and we have appreciated that choice for the last 60 years. If you are buying a home or refinancing, think of Weber Abstract, serving all of Lake County. Weber Abstract in Madison, 256-4640, or visit us at weberabstract.com. Why go anywhere else?
Yeah, but what's the design?
Back live at Sportsman's Steakhouse and Lounge this evening. I'm not sure what it is. This is Coach's Corner live from Sportsman's Steakhouse and Lounge. You'll find out. Google it or something. Of course, it's myself, Paul Volt, joined alongside JJ from Sportsman Steakhouse and Lounge.
Yeah, don't mind me, I'm just oogling my championship belt.
Yeah, it's whatever at this point. He's still high on himself right now. It's my fault, honestly. It's my fault. I brought it here.
I was going to leave it at the station. You're the one who brought it here.
I'm the one who brought it. I brought my Dunce paper bag hat. We'll call it a hat and new face. I also brought my Will Feed for Pick sign because I am desperate at this point.
I'm pulling for the coaches to win this game.
This is an interesting week. Of course, we are now joined on Coach's Corner with Madison High School cross-country coach Bob Kortz. Thanks for coming on, Coach, this evening.
Oh, you're welcome.
Absolutely. I appreciate the time as well. It's a bit of a busy time for you this year, especially, with tomorrow being the region meet over in Salem with some other schools participating in the event like McCook Central Montrose, Del Rapids, Blandrew, along with West Central, including Madison High School as well. A lot of meets on the season for your squad as well. Just starting all the way back in August up until this point with the regular season ending soon. Now you're going to be running in the regional tournament or regional meet tomorrow, and then state is, I believe, next week, if my memory serves me correct. Just looking back at your runners' performances this season, how would you rate their overall performance, just looking at each individual runner and also as a team?
Oh, that's a big question. I think that I think our season's gone about as expected. No great shockers for me. We've had some good meets, some meets in which my athletes really surprised me, and our girls ended up winning 2 meets this year, and that was kind of a shocker for me. And winning a meet in cross country is a big deal because it's not just you against one other team. It's you and sometimes 10, sometimes 12 other teams, and so that's winning 2 meets in a season is very significant. And our girls were able to accomplish that at our home John Culligan Invitational and the Bonham Invitational, and so. That's quite an accomplishment. The boys are able to get a couple third places this year, and that's promising. We're very young. Our boys are very young. It's a very different team. My girls are veteran. They're very experienced. I've got five seniors on the varsity squad and a junior. Mm-hmm. And my varsity boys are freshmen, 8th graders, 7th graders. So it's a different team. Usually it's kind of flipped for the boys and the girls.
I was going to ask about that too. With the experience more on the girls' side, and also a very young boys' team as well. Are there anything challenge-wise that you have to do coaching-wise to kind of coach up some of the younger runners like you do with the boys' team, as opposed to the more experienced, the veteran side with the girls' team?
Well, every year, every team is just a little different. You don't just stick to the same old plan that you had in the previous year. We've had to mix things up, and we've had to change some of our workouts and things like that, and take a different approach. Since we do have for the most part, a younger group. It's been interesting. It's been fun. It's been challenging.
Yep.
It's been across the whole spectrum. Every year's an adventure, and this year has been an adventure to say the least, and a good one, a very good one. And we're looking forward to the region meet. We're looking forward to the state meet, and we think we're ready.
Absolutely. Talking about being ready for the regional meet tomorrow, leading up in this week of, practice for cross country, is each kind of, for preparing for each meet, is there just something different that your teams work on, or is it just kind of is there like a set guideline plan for, this is what we're going to do, how long we're going to do it for, and just other things, or is it just kind of, judging by like which place you're going to be at, which course you're going to be running? Is there things that you try to differentiate in practice to kind of get your runners different looks, while also at the same time, preparing them for the meet?
Well, I guess I break my season up into different phases.
Mm-hmm.
There's the base building phase in the early part of the season, and then once we get into September, we try to fit in a couple of quality workouts a week, but our September schedule is very busy. So if we get in one quality workout, whether it's a tempo run or a workout of longer intervals, that's a good week. Usually about late September, we start to taper off. We do some fine tuning. We work on speed, and we rest. It's like farming. You don't just plant one day and then harvest the next. You put your seeds in, and 2 months earlier, and then you harvest later on, and that's our approach to training. And it's nothing different than what anyone else does, but you want to make sure that this time of year you're ready, you're physically ready, you're mentally ready, and you're rested and not injured. And right now we're rested. As far as I know, we don't have anyone injured. No one said to me, "Gosh, Coach Courts, my leg just really bothers me right now." I haven't had any of that, and sometimes that can be very problematic this time of year, because you're always pushing as hard as you can. You're always trying to maximize your effort, and we're thankful that we're healthy.
I was just thinking about the health-wise. With the colder weather, is it an issue with like some of your runners, and also in years past, once it starts getting cooler, is it better to run in cooler weather as opposed to like the warmer weather, like in late August, early September? Because I've never experienced a cross-country meet, or had, I never participated, because mostly I didn't participate very much in high school sports. With the cooler weather now getting into soon to be mid-October, temperatures start dropping down. Is it more of an adjustment on the mental side, or is it more of the physical side when it comes to running in conditions like the last week or so?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Some runners will claim that they like the heat better than the cold.
Mm-hmm.
Some runners like the cold, and I've had runners in the past that go, "Oh, gosh, oh my goodness, it's going to be 30 degrees. That's my kind of weather." I like that. So it is in large part mental preparation, and that's a big component of our sport. You have to be able to compete in any kind of conditions. It's not like you're inside in a basketball court and you're gonna have, where you have your conditions controlled. You have to learn how to run the wind, the rain. You have to learn to run hills, and a lot of that again is just the mental preparation that goes with our sport.
On the mental side as well, after each meet, I would imagine you guys go pretty light at practices as well. What on the mental side of preparation leading up to each race, are some things that some runners are trying to prepare for mentally, also trying to get themselves ready for the actual race itself? What are some things that you teach your runners, to get ready on the mental side of each race?
Well, a couple of things. Visualization.
Mm-hmm.
You want to kind of plant a seed in their head that they're going to do great. I have them visualize finishing a race. Thinking about how they're going to feel, and if they are hurting, to work through it. It's a tough sport.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have that mental edge. And there are other things too. Sometimes you have to remind the kids that it's supposed to be fun. You don't want to go into the meet all stressed out and thinking, "Oh my goodness, this is the reach meet. This could be it." You want them relaxed and lose. It's amazing how much energy that the body consumes when you're nervous, when you're wound up, when you're tense.
Mm-hmm.
It drains the energy out of you. So you want them to be aware that it's a competition, but also that it's supposed to be fun.
Absolutely.
No one's I'm not asking them to charge a hill or take out a bunker.
Mm-hmm.
It's we want our kids to be competitive. We want them to put it all out there, but at the end of the day, we want it to be fun, and they should be relaxed and lose before a race.
Absolutely. Coach, also leading up, you got the regional meet tomorrow over in Salem, the Region 2A meet. What have been the workouts and the preparation leading up to this meet? Is there anything that you've really changed, or are you just trying to stay consistent?
Well, like I said, we generally plan our workouts in phases. We've done some shorter intervals in the last couple weeks, 800s, quarters, things like that, with short rest in between, and that kind of fine tunes it. That gets them, ready for a race and gets their leg speed up and gets their body ready.
Absolutely, Coach. Also looking towards, looking to both the boys and the girls team. What are you looking to accomplish? Is it just, being able to finish the race well, trying to put up a good time as well for the Region 2 meet? What are you looking at for each of your runners to accomplish in this meet?
Well, I look at it more from the team perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 48 athletes, and I approach it from the team standpoint. I certainly want them to PR or have their personal record at the region or the state meet, but my focus is mostly the team, and I want the team, both teams, boys and girls teams, to qualify for the state meet, and we've done that. And I had to recheck my records. We've done that for the last 7 years on both sides. Ultimately, our goal every year is to win the combined team title, or at least compete for the combined team title. And, that's always our main goal.
Absolutely. Coach, thanks again for coming on. Of course, best of luck to you tomorrow at the regional meet and also heading into the state tournament as well, or the state meet, rather, as well. Hopefully you guys can finish well, be able to put up some really good times and get a few runners to the state meet as well.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Bob Court's joining us, the Madison cross-country coach here on Coach's Corner. We're going to take another break. We see a couple of gentlemen walking in. Nick Behrens along with Kurt Bakey from the number 19 ranked Dakota State Trojan football team. Hopefully Josh Anderson joins us as well here shortly. He is always good about time as well. And,
are you calling him out?
I'm not calling him out.
Yes,
that is the last thing I want to do.
I'm calling him out for you.
You're calling? Yeah. All right. As long as you say it, I'm perfectly fine with that, of course.
I hope he's listening to this.
Coach Court's filling out the pick sheet as well for the games coming up. Of course, Mike not with us tonight.
No, he's gone.
But I feel like the coaches are going to put up
you got the Jacksonville game, don't you, over there? Who are you picking?
That's a tough one.
Jacksonville, Chicago.
One.
Who do you got? Really?
Chicago.
I got Jacksonville.
Hoyers Heroes, baby.
Wow.
Hoyers Heroes. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Dakota State Trojan football. This is Coach's Corner, live from Sportsman Steakhouse and Lounge.
Josh
right
Anderson,
here.
get here.
Live.
Freaking out.
Oh, come on Dakota's Best
He's
AM 1390.
Wilbur Ellis is a leading provider of innovative solutions in seed technology, as well as plant protection and nutrition. Wilbur Ellis, located in Chester, South Dakota, providing Asgrow and DeKalb brands, various field applications, and local plot data, can provide you with expert advice for your acres. Grow smart and reduce loss. Let Wilbur Ellis address your challenges. Contact your Wilbur Ellis representative at 489-2171. At Wilbur Ellis, they never stop looking ahead.
Planning to use a credit card to cover your upcoming holiday travel expenses or help manage that Christmas shopping list? Why not let the dollars you spend reward you? Twice. Apply for a Dakota Land Federal Credit Union low-interest Visa card today and earn double the reward points for all purchases made between November 1st and the end of the year. The holidays could be twice as nice, earning double the reward points to spend on valuable merchandise and travel. Offer good through the end of December. Some restrictions do apply. Visit DakotaLandFCU.com for details.
Come on into the sunshine.
Sunshine has everything you need to host game night. From burgers to brats and great deli items like potato salad, coleslaw, and chicken, as well as take and bake pizza, Sunshine Foods has you covered. Need to stock up on beverages? Check out the wine and spirits department at Sunshine Foods. Sunshine Foods in Madison, your one-stop shop for game night.
Neighborhood fresh, neighborhood feel, Sunshine Foods.
Twin Lakes Animal Clinic, TLAC.
Take special care of your animals with Twin Lakes Animal Clinic in Madison and the Howard Animal Clinic with Doctors Tom, Dave, Brooke, and Jennifer. They're on hand with helpful hints on animal care. For your vacation, rely on Twin Lakes for boarding facilities. Call for details. From house pets to complete livestock herds, Twin Lakes of Madison and the Howard Animal Clinic are stocked with both small and large animal supplies. Call Twin Lakes Animal Clinic for helpful hints on your animal care.
Back on Coach's Corner, live from Sportsman's Steakhouse and Lounge, here on Dakota's Best AM 1390, also on AmazingMadison.com. Or if you want to see the show live, we are here Wednesday night live at Sportsman's Steakhouse.
Check out my championship belt,
you
by the
can
way.
check out JJ's championship
It doesn't fit because you bought the wrong size.
It's a kid's size.
You bought the kid's size.
It is the kid's size. I told you, I bought that thing like 10 years ago. And I am a bit of a pack rat, or a hoarder, if most people would say. We are back.
There's a show for that.
There is a show.
Do I need to sign you up for that?
I don't know about that, but to some degree, there is some things I do need to let go. We are now joined by we are joined on Coach's Corner with head coach for the number 19 ranked. I am flustered
because he called you out,
and
then I called him out for calling you out. And
there's
like that.
There's a lot of calling out right now. We are now joined by Josh Anderson, head coach for the 5-1 overall Dakota State Trojans, number 19 in the national poll, also 2-0 in North Star Conference play. Coach, thanks for coming on once again.
Absolutely. I'm a little upset that you thought I'd be late.
That's on me. I'm going to put the hand up. That's on me. I make a lot of mistakes, most of them as well. Yeah, exactly. I got my dunce cap as well because, 7-7 last week. I'm going to, if someone's going to make fun of me, I might as well beat them all to the punch and make fun of myself. And if you didn't see the Facebook Live video, you need to check it out on our Facebook page.
I taught Paul how to properly take the bun off.
Yes.
Put barbecue sauce on the burger, and then put the bun back on.
You
know how to do that.
I knew how to do that.
Where did you grow up? Goodness sake.
There's a lot of problems. I'm Minnesota kid. So
got to get your crayons out.
Yeah,
exactly. Things around there.
Well, of course, this is Coach's Corner live from Sportsman's Steakhouse and Lounge. Coach, heading into this weekend, you're taking on Valley City State. After a week off with the bye week, you're plenty of rest, getting your team healthy as well for this stretch run. It couldn't have come at a better time this bye week, shouldn't it have?
Oh, I tell you what, no doubt about it. We probably could have used it a week earlier even.
I can imagine, yeah.
We were a little depleted going into that Waldorf game as well, but, muscled through it, found a way to win in that fourth quarter. We already talked about that game. But, yeah, I tell you, it was very beneficial. We still have some guys that are still not practicing full at this moment, trying to get them some extra days to heal up just so we can for sure have them for Saturday.
Absolutely. Heading into this final 4-game stretch of the season, you were at home this Friday against Valley City State. Then we take the long trip up to Dickinson. Then we also head back here for our final home game. Then we are taking on Mayville on our final home game, and then back to on the road taking on Aberdeen, or taking on presentation in Aberdeen. Just looking at this back and forth schedule for the last 4 weeks of the season, sitting at 5-1 overall, 2-0 in conference play. What is going to be the main focus heading into this final 4-game stretch?
Well, obviously in the big picture, the table's set for us, and the fact that it's up to us. And, if we're going to be able to handle our own destiny here, we got to make sure we just take care of business, and not get too far ahead of ourselves. Valley City is an extremely good team.
Absolutely.
Of course, Dickinson is doing very well, and Mayville also is a very good team, and so presentation, and they're putting up a lot of points too. So really, it's conference play. You can't look past anybody, despite their record. It really doesn't matter. And we've been in that boat where we've been in the back end of the conference and always played tough games, just didn't win when we needed to or could have, whereas now we're getting that done. But, just, again, can't look past anybody, and we're definitely not. I know that. Everybody knows what's at stake. I mean, that goes without saying. We have to win. And we have to win out in order to have a chance, obviously to be conference champs, but then to even have a chance at the playoffs. And if we lose even one game, chances are pretty good we're not going to have either a conference championship or a playoff spot. So, and that's just what it is, So we're gonna play hard regardless. It really doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
But of course, like I said, Valley City is a very good team. They deserve our full attention, and we've done a good job of really focusing on that.
Yeah, definitely, Coach. Sitting at number 19 in the national polls, just slipped just slightly from the number 18 spot. Is that something you just look at and you're just kind of you just look past it, with the rankings, or is it just like, just to be in the top 25 is a nice little window dressing for your squad as well?
Yeah, I mean, normally when you have a bye week, teams stay the same,
Mm-hmm.
or they go down in the poll because people lose underneath them, and you'd move up. I don't even know if I have ever seen a team have a bye week and then like flip like that. But
it's interesting.
Yeah, but honestly, it's in the same sense, it's still really nice to be nationally recognized, and that's good and all, but really it doesn't mean anything as far as we're concerned. I was talking to the team today about it, and I know they all feel the same way. It really doesn't matter what our record is or what Valley City's record is. I mean, that's a game we want to win, regardless of what it's for, if it were for anything or nothing at all. That's just a team that's really been, honestly, put the beating on us for quite a while. Last year we felt like we had them and stumbled over our own mistakes, and of course they finished the game and we didn't, and so that's just what they are. They're a good ball club, and they finished right to the end. So we got to be able to do that ourselves, and we're well aware of that. We got a veteran crew now, an experienced, mature crew, so they're smart. They've been practicing really well. They haven't been, going crazy or doing things they're not supposed to be doing. Real basic discipline football, and hopefully that's all it'll take to have success.
Absolutely. Taking on Valley City State this Saturday, 4 p.m. kickoff from Trojan Field over on our sister station, Jammin' Country 103. And you can also listen to the game online at AmazingMadison.com. Last season, a tough loss, still fresh in the minds of a lot of your players. We were talking about that last week on the show. What has been the attitude this week with this game? I would imagine there hasn't been much needed for extra motivation for this matchup coming this Saturday.
The attitude is just focus. It's not really even about like revenge in a sense. It's more of a redemption for us. We're not trying to prove to Valley City that we're capable. We're trying to prove to ourselves that we're capable of beating a quality team in our conference. Valley City's always top 1 or 2 team in the conference for a reason. They've got really good coaches and an outstanding team on special teams. And their defense and their offense, they're really solid in every spot. Really, their weak spot is their radio announcer. Other than that, they're solid. So just a jab in at old Joel Morgan there, yeah.
Joel Morgan?
Yeah.
Better you saying that than me.
Joel
I'm not going to back it up in any way, shape, or form. Again, I'll defer to my anchor translator, JJ, for all.
He took Monday off, by the way.
Really?
So he might show up at the station.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'll tell you to continue on that, though. Not to keep giving it to Joel that he left us. It's no big deal. It's not like anybody forgot about that. But anyway, that's Valley City. They're solid in all spots. Really don't, as you're on the offensive side trying to pick apart the defense, you look for, let's say, defensive backs or linebackers or defensive linemen that you really want to pick on and run at when they're, when it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. All right, let's make sure we run at that guy, or let's throw at that guy. There's really nobody that sticks out on their offense or their defense, and of course their special teams. So they're solid across the board, and we have to be equally solid and make sure we don't make the mistakes that'll help them to have any kind of advantage.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Coach, for coming on. We'll hand it off to one of the players over here. See who wants to come first. Looks like Kurt Bakey will be joining us. Of course, defensive lineman out of Clear Lake, South Dakota. Kurt Bakey joining us in Coach's Corner. Kurt, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, anytime.
Absolutely. Just looking at your season overall, and just looking at the defensive line for your team, a lot of different pieces on that defensive line. You guys got coming in almost every other play, it seems like, whether it be yourself, Darby Neal, Cole Potter, Clifton Marshall coming in as well. With that number of moving pieces in that defensive unit, what, in practice-wise to get ready for, being ready at a moment's notice, what are some things that as a defensive line that you guys really had to get nailed down to be in order to be effective?
With so many people rotating on that list, you need to know who's in the game at that time, because every time I look to my right and I see Cole Potter there, I know what play I'm running, I know what I need to be doing, and sometimes Darby will switch to that position, and I need to know if he's there that is that side of the field and which stunt or which blitz I'll be running then. But no, in practice we'll run different rotations. We'll mix people up from 1s to 2s. Everybody gets their own try, so that's basically about it.
Yeah, especially over on the communication side, we have so many guys moving in and out. What what communication-wise do you guys have to do to be able to know who's going to be on the field at certain plays? Does that fall on towards the coaching staff, or is it a bit of a mix with the players and the coaches' staff as well?
Well, it's a little bit of a mix, but the communication with what we're doing on the field most of the time comes down to like our linebackers and like they're the main ones giving in the plays and putting us in the right spot. So
absolutely, every little player has their own little niche that they bring toward the defensive side of the ball. You personally, what is one thing that you try to do to set yourself apart, especially on that defensive line?
I really love getting that pass rush because, I'm not the biggest defensive lineman, but I've got the speed.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely faster than a lot of the O-linemen that will line up in front of me, so got to do anything to get to that quarterback as fast as I can.
Absolutely, especially coming into this matchup on Saturday, taking on Valley City State. Practice-wise, what has the defense been doing to get ready for this matchup?
Watching that film, they like to do a lot of screens, so mentally we just got to be prepared for that and notice it quickly. And other than that, it's just that run defense. So just staying home and knowing what you got to do.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Kurt, for coming on. We appreciate it. Defensive lineman for the number 19 ranked Dakota State University Trojans, Kurt Bakey, joining us on Coach's Corner. Of course, Nick Barons waiting in the wings to get on. Absolutely, this is going to be a good one, I think, in my mind. Going to be a good interview right here. Nick joining us here on Coach's Corner.
You're like a giddy schoolgirl. Calm yourself, man.
It's not every day that you get to talk to a kicker and a punter. Okay, I'm sorry. I have. What can I say? It's been a good day. Otherwise, except for JJ, who always brings me back down to reality. We're now joined on Coach's Corner.
I told you not to give him the belt.
Well, that's on me. Now I know for next week because you're gonna win it again, and you're just gonna keep it. Nick, thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I've always wondered, with the kicking and the punting situation at a practice, how much do you work on, the kicking and the punting side? Obviously you guys are out there maybe 2.5, 3 hours for practice. How much actual work do you get in, during that time frame itself?
Well, in a game week, you kind of want to be selective with what you get in because you don't want to overkick your leg going into a game week. So you're making sure you're rested up come Saturday. But, a lot of it's just kind of preparation as far as what the team is doing that you're playing and making sure that your scheme is good to go for that coming week. So, you definitely get your extra kicks in, working on your technique and everything like that. But you, like I said, don't want to overkick and rest up come Saturday. So.
Yeah, just looking at both sides, especially in the kicking side, you and your holder, of course, the backup quarterback, Jared Richardson, how much communication do you guys have to have in order to get timing just right when it comes to getting field goals and extra points as well?
Yeah, we talk a lot. He does a great job of getting the ball down, first of all. He's had some tough snaps that we've had to do, but same thing as last year. We had our snapper get hurt at the beginning of the year, so we had to have a guy jump in and do it. And he's done a great job of just kind of stepping in and doing his role. But, between the communication between me and Jared, we talk and we make sure that we know where the pressure's coming from and everything like that. But more than anything, you just want the operation time between snapper, holder, and kicker to be spot on because, with that operation time, if it's where it's supposed to be, there's not really a chance of a block ever happening. So if everybody does their job, everything should go smooth.
As the season continues on, the temperature starts to drop. It seems like each week, it's gonna be cool these next few weeks, especially going on the road against Presentation and also Dickinson as well in the next couple of weeks. Weather-wise, what is one thing a kicker has to kind of prepare for? Is it more of a mental thing, or is it kind of a physical thing too when it prepares? When you're preparing for maybe a cold weather game coming up.
Sure. Yeah, the physical aspect of it is just kind of the ball gets a little bit more stiff, kind of hurts off your foot a little bit. I got a little wake-up call to that today when it was pretty cold out for practice, and we did kickoff, and the ball was pretty stiff off my foot, and I was like, I think I broke my foot kicking a brick. But no, a lot of it's just a lot of the mental aspect of it, really forcing yourself to keep your head down and stay true to your technique. With all of that, the preparation that you do definitely helps out, but definitely a mental side of it. You want to make sure that you're really toned into what you're doing, and the main thing is keeping your head down and kicking through the ball. So.
Absolutely. Nick, thanks again for coming on. We appreciate the time. Best of luck to you guys. On Saturday, of course, I will be there. It'll be a 4 p.m. kickoff as the number 19 ranked Dakota State University Trojans take on Valley City State from Trojan Field, 4 p.m. kickoff over on Jammin' Country 103 and also AmazingMadison.com. Nick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Go Trojans.
Absolutely. Go Trojans right here on Coach's Corner. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we will do our NFL Week 6 picks. Of course, our third picker, Mike, out this week. So we're going to do a coach's pick. Thank you again, sir, for coming on. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll do our NFL Week 6 picks. This is Coach's Corner live from Sportsman Steakhouse and Lounge on Dakota's Best AM 1390.
I'm going to crush you.
Mustang Seeds, your proven leader with proven performance for over 53 years. Providing top-notch service that area producers have come to expect, Mustang Seeds provides the service and products to maximize yields and quality harvest. Mustang Seeds is the best choice for having your farming operation succeed. Contact your seed expert today at Mustang Seeds, 605-256-6529, or online at mustangseeds.com.
You can count on our seeds year after year, planting your future. Mustang Seeds.
Sometimes spending a little can save you a lot. Taking time to implement some energy-saving features in your home will not only save you money, but help protect our environment. Make the switch to compact fluorescent light bulbs. They use 75% less electricity and last up to 10 times longer than incandescent bulbs. And plug air leaks around windows and doors with weather stripping or caulk. Install a programmable thermostat to automatically adjust your home's temperature for energy savings day and night. Properly insulating your attic will save money year-round by preventing air leaks. These energy-saving tips brought to you by Heartland Consumers Power District, the power of forward thinking.
Advanced Contracting Solutions LLC in Madison offers full concrete, roofing, insulation, and spray foam insulation for residential and light commercial projects. They make it their goal to not only use the highest quality products for their projects, but also to provide their clients with quality work that will last for years to come at an affordable price. For an estimate, contact Jeremiah today at 605-270-1299 or stop out at their location on Highway 34 in Madison. Start your next project today with Advanced Contracting Solutions LLC of Madison. Visit them online at acsroofingandfoam.com.
At East River Federal Credit Union, we offer slam dunk rates so you can get the car, truck, or recreation vehicle of your dreams without breaking your budget. Talk with one of our loan officers about financing or refinancing with our all-star rates. Visit eastriverfcu.com or call 256-8145 and ask us how we can save you money today. East River Federal Credit Union proudly supports the Madison Bulldogs and is member NCUA insured and equal opportunity lender.
We are back live from Sports Steakhouse Lounge this evening. This is Coach's Corner on Dakota's Best AM 1390, joined alongside by my co-host, JJ. I am Paul Vold, and JJ.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, I hear you.
Sorry, I'm dazed and confused.
The belt is shining upon you right now, and of course, it is now time for our NFL Week 6 picks.
Wait, come on. Just take one moment.
Yes, I see it.
Just take one moment to embrace it.
Yes.
Look at it. It's so pretty.
Oh, sure. Now you say it's pretty.
Well, it could be pretty in the wrong size at the same time. It could be a two-in-one thing. Anyways, let's get you loose again.
Okay. Well, of course, our usual guest, Mike, is not here this week, but we had a coach's fill-in. Each coach guest, we had Max Hodgen, along with Bob Quartz and also Coach Josh Anderson, pick each game, or at least we split them up 3 ways, so each coach got to pick 5 games for this week, so our picks will not go unpicked for the third guest.
I do think we should give the belt to the individual coach who picks the most out of the 5 games.
But what if it's a tie?
Well,
that's another good question.
Then it goes to, I don't know.
Well, looking at last week's results, JJ took home the championship, 10-4 last week, 30-17 overall. Mike was second best, 8-6, 28-19 overall. Wow, me, lonesome at the bottom, 7-7, 24-23 overall through 3 actual weeks of picking. So, with that being said, we are going to just dive right into it. We're going to start with the champion because he knows everything about picking.
Let it go.
I gave you an awesome intro. I was not being sassy about it.
You're sarcastic about it.
I'm sarcastic about it. I'm sorry, my tone is sarcastic. I apologize.
It's either you go again.
JJ?
Being a winner is not fun when you don't trash talk me back.
Okay.
Because then I win, and then that's it.
Just move on.
No.
I'm on to the next week. Bill Belichick. We're on to next week.
Yeah, but at least he wins things.
This
unlike
is
you.
true. This
you
is true.
You can't move on if you don't win.
I can't win.
Anyways.
This is just first game, Denver at San Diego.
Denver.
I picked Denver as well. Coach Max Hodgin took Denver as well in our first. He's going to pick the first 5 games. Max Hodgin will, head coach for the Madison Bulldogs. We all took Denver over San Diego. San Diego just can't get it figured out. It's unfortunate.
They blame their kicker.
They blame the kicker?
They blame the kicker for the holder not holding the ball.
Huh.
What is that?
Blame it on the most expendable guy out of the lot.
Not.
I see you're working. Next matchup, we got San Francisco at the Great White North. That is Buffalo. San Francisco's got a new starting quarterback, Colin Kaepernick.
But I'm still going the Bills.
I'm going the Bills as well. Hodgin went 49ers.
He's going Kaepernick. See, it might make a difference.
As my former baseball coach.
I don't think it's going to, but we'll see, I guess.
As one of my former baseball coaches, Trevor Payne, huge Niners fan. He just loves Colin Kaepernick.
I just read some. They restructured his contract.
Ooh.
Like, as of tonight.
Nice.
So, yeah. He's looking up for him.
Okay, next matchup. I didn't actually even pick this game until right now.
What?
We got
qualification.
We got Philadelphia at the quote-unquote Washington Redskins. JJ, who do you got?
Philadelphia.
Got Philadelphia, and Coach Hodgin also has Philadelphia. I went Washington.
Really?
Yes, I did. I don't know. It's just the first thing I put down. I was like, oh, I didn't pick this game. Okay, Washington.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe not Colin Kaepernick, but Kirk Cousins. Can I mean, this is not an easy. I mean, this is certainly a good matchup. 3-1 versus 3-2. The Redskins, quote unquote, Redskins are 3-2. I'm going to go with Washington out on this one. Okay, next matchup: the 0-5 Cleveland Browns versus Tennessee.
How many quarterbacks have they gone through this year?
I think
5.
5 of them.
5?
I saw a stat after Sunday's game. They've had the first time, I think, in a long time that they've had 5 quarterbacks at least attempt 5 passes in this season. So we're going to all chalk it up as the Tennessee Titans go 3-3 on the season.
Yep.
Next matchup, we got the 3-2 Baltimore Ravens taking on the 2-3 New York Giants. JJ.
I got Ravens.
Ravens. Let's see here. Hodgins got the Ravens as well. I'm going New York. I'm going the Giants. As much as it pains me to say,
I think McAdoo can right the ship.
I think McAdoo can right the ship. As much as I despise Eli Manning.
You don't like it? Why not?
Because he beats up my Patriots, man.
Well,
in the Super Bowl.
Well,
especially when both those Super Bowl wins are flukes. Huge flukes. I got New York.
Your boy Tom Brady's got 4 rings?
4 rings. Should have been 6.
Oh, jeez.
Should have been 6. Next matchup. Bit of a bad matchup here in the NFC South. 1-4 Carolina at 1-3 New Orleans. JJ.
Do we know if Cam Newton's back yet?
I'm going to assume no.
I haven't heard anything.
I'm going to assume no. Otherwise.
I think Drew Brees is going to get it done. I got the Saints.
Yeah, I got the Saints as well. And now we're into Coach Quart's picks. He went New Orleans as well, so a clean sweep of New Orleans Saints, defeating the Super Bowl hung-over Carolina Panthers to move on. Next matchup, this was just a bad matchup. Jacksonville at Chicago, 1-3 versus 1-4. JJ, who would you go with?
I ultimately chose Jacksonville.
Really?
Just because, have you heard John Fox in the media the last couple of days?
I have not.
That dude has no idea what's going on.
Nobody does.
He's got no control over that team.
Nobody does.
So they're too dysfunctional for me.
I went Chicago. I don't know why. They almost got the win last week against Indianapolis.
Well,
Indianapolis is 2-3, and both those wins came down to the wire. I got high praise on Brian Hoyer.
Of course he did.
Hoyer's Heroes, a former member of the Tom Brady Clipboard Holders Association, as Coach Court.
What are you going to do when Brady retires?
I'm going to cry deeply.
Belichick leaves.
Mm-hmm. And it's just Gronkowski there. He might.
He'll get traded.
He's not going to get. He's not going to make it the way he
He'll
keeps getting banged up. Bob Courts also took Chicago in this one as well, so we got a little bit.
Wow, okay.
You know, we got to have differentiation. You
Well,
know,
that's
next
fine.
matchup, we got 3-2 Los Angeles at the 2-3 Detroit Lions. This was another tough pick in my mind.
I had trouble with it.
Mm-hmm.
I eventually went Lions.
Okay. Well, Coach Quartz also took the Lions in that matchup, a 12 p.m. kickoff. I went the Rams. I went with the Rams. Last week I picked the Rams.
Defense? Is that what it was?
I think it was the defense.
Yeah.
I think they got a couple more guys that can get to Matt Stafford on the outside. I mean, they got a no-name offense. They got like a couple of guys that were decent, like second stringers on some other teams. Of course, my boy Case Keenum.
Did you see that video of Matt Stafford getting tackled?
I did not.
Maybe it was a sack.
Ouch.
His helmet came off.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
And
Playing
you
fast
see
and
his
loose.
sweaty hair bounced in one direction as his body goes in the opposite direction.
Nice,
and then
nice.
his face, like, does that slow motion jiggly to his cheeks.
Nice.
You need to check this video.
I need
How
to
could you ever see this?
Because I don't get out much. I'm the sports guy, yet I don't do very many
Only been on Facebook like every other news feed.
That's because I'm not subscribed to the right things, or I don't like the right pages.
So I'll send it to you.
pages. Next matchup, Pittsburgh at Miami, 4-1 versus 1-4. JJ? Steelers across the board as well. Bob Courts also picked the Steelers along with me. And next matchup, the return of Tom Brady back home. The revenge tour makes a stop in Foxborough.
Do you get endorsements every time you talk about him?
No, I don't. I just love Tom Brady with every beat of my heart. Cincinnati coming to Foxborough, Gillette Stadium, the revenge tour, part 2.
You're the only person that calling it that, by the way.
Exactly. I don't care. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm going to be
It hurts me
as
to say
obnoxious
this.
as I can.
I picked the Patriots. Don't make me regret that.
That's fine. It's fine. They're going to get it done. They're going to move on. We also, Coach Quartz also picked New England along with myself. That was his last pick. Moving on to 5-1, will the Patriots and take it back out on the road as well. Next matchup, we got looks like the AFC West matchup between Kansas City and Oakland. JJ, who'd you pick?
I got Oakland.
I believe we all picked Oakland as well to beat the Chiefs. I just don't have any confidence in them because, like, 1 week their defense will be stellar, and then their offense will let them down, and next week it's the exact opposite. There's no consistency with
Not
that
at
team.
all.
Next matchup, we've got Atlanta heading out west, taking on the Seahawks, who are 3-1. 4-1 versus 3-1 in this matchup.
I got the Falcons.
Got the Falcons. We both took the Falcons as well. This time, Coach Anderson taking the Falcons, as I did as well. Both of them taking the Falcons as well. Next matchup, we got Dallas at Green Bay. This is a very interesting matchup in my mind.
I have problems with this.
I did too.
I think Green Bay.
He took Green Bay. Coach Anderson also took Green Bay. I took Dallas.
Because of the Dak attack, the Dak and Dunk.
No, I have no nickname for him. I could care less about
that's the name for the
Dak
offense
attack
that they're running.
The Dak and Dunk.
The Dak and Dunk.
I like it. I'm going to start hashtagging it, and I'm going to start tweeting it about every other tweet.
You're obnoxious. You are out of control.
I am obnoxious.
What do you
Okay.
say? I am?
Well, yeah, a little bit. But only on good days.
I'm obnoxious all the time.
And our last pick, the AFC South matchup between the 2-3 Indianapolis Colts and the 3-2 Houston Texans. I was still mystified that Houston is 3-2 on the season. I don't know how or why. JJ. Colts. I took the Colts as well. Coach Anderson took the Texans.
Really?
Yes, he did. Good for him. We got to have some. We got to have some different picks. And lastly, Monday night matchup: the New York Jets at the Arizona Cardinals. Can we just all assume that we took the Cardinals? We all took the Cardinals in that one. And of course, that is our NFL Week 6 picks. Of course, Mike not with us, but all of our guests from this week picking a segment of games. So we will see how these matchups unfold when we come back next week, and who knows? Maybe JJ will keep the title. Who knows? Maybe our coaches will. One of our coaches, actually, we're going to come up with a tiebreaker situation. Which coach does better with their picks, and maybe that said coach will bring home the gold, or who knows?
So I might get in trouble for this, but what if the tiebreaker is if that coach wins that next game or match or whatever it is,
right?
Versus another coach that may have lost.
Ooh. That is a tough one.
That's a tough one.
That's a double tiebreaker situation.
And they have no control over this, I don't think.
I don't think so.
So
no.
this is our decision.
This is our
Should we
decision.
do this?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's set it down.
The pressure's on. You got to
the
win the football
is
game. Both football games.
Both of them.
CSU, Madison, and the cross-country meet.
Yes. Pressure's on.
The pressure's on the coaches.
It's out of our hands. It's out of our hands. It's down in paper. We have people listening all over the place listening to this. Of course, want to thank all of our guests for coming on this evening. Madison Bulldogs football coach Max Hodgen, along with Madison cross-country coach Bob Quartz, and Dakota State Trojan football coach Josh Anderson, along with Nick Behrens and Kurt Bakey, as they make their way back towards playing this Saturday. A 4 p.m. kickoff that will be right on Jam and Country 103. Of course, the Madison Bulldogs football game will be right here on Dakota's Best AM 1390. 7 p.m. kickoff, taking on T Friday night. JJ, once again, another beautiful job this evening.
Great. So this is what it feels like when The Rock had the championship belt, and he's holding it up like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's pretty awesome. I wouldn't
World
know.
Wrestling belt. This feels great.
I still got my little dunce cap. Maybe I'll wear that when we step aside
The
for
most
our beverages.
electrifying man in entertainment.
That's pretty.
That doesn't roll off the tongue.
That does not roll off the tongue.
Not even a little bit.
I'm just going to take this pick sheet here, take it out of hands, keep it out of your grimy little hands. Of course, next week we already have one guest booked. We'll have Chad Williamson, head football coach for Coleman Egan Hawks, as they look to extend their season into postseason play as well. Still looking for another guest as well. Got a couple feelers out there, but for sure we will have another great show for you next Wednesday right here from Sportsman.
You sound like you're on a
Steakhouse.
dating app. I got some feelers out there.
I got some feelers out there.
We'll see what happens. We'll put feelers.
Putting out the vibe. Of course,
I got one shit, dude. With this
I'm trying to wrap this show up here.
You trying to round me up?
I'm trying to round you up. Of course, this has been Coach's
If you can
Corner.
round me up, you can round multiple women up.
Live from Sportsman Steakhouse
Okay,
and
Sarah's
Lounge
watching.
for my co-host, JJ. I am Paul Vold. We thank you for listening once again. Live from Sportsman Steakhouse and Lounge, this has been Coach's Corner on Dakota's Best, AM 1390.
Thanks for listening to Coach's Corner on Dakota's Best AM 1390 and at AmazingMadison.com. Coach's Corner has been brought to you by Sportsman Steakhouse and Lounge in Madison. Tune in next Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. for Coach's Corner on KJAM.